Hello, everyone. My name is Oksana. It's road to Edoverse Weekly and Edoverse Insider, the 37th. We deliver the news about the creation of our project Edoverse. And Tokugawa-san, could you please, as usual, open the session today?
Okay. Hi. Thank you, Oksana. Hello, everybody. This is Iehiro Tokugawa. Now, this is part 3 of Edo Castle, Edojo, the Shogun's Castle. Now, I've explained to you why it does not have a keep tower, a tenshukaku, and then how big it was. Naturally, the Tokugawa is the last of the samurai dynasties, and also the strongest. That's why they became shogun. So it is the biggest castle in Japan that exists to this day. But in this vast space, how many people actually live there? And the answer is, well, there's the shogun and his family. And then there is the ooku, the ladies section is how I think my father put it, but it's not a harem, by the way. I'll come back to this next week or sometime in the near future. But there's the shogun and his wife. I call it the shogun consort. And then she had an army of maids. And some of the higher ranking maids had their own maids. So there were hundreds of women living in the ooku. And then ooku does not mean harem. It means that deep inside. And then there is the medium inside nakaoku. And this is where the shogun, his wife and children actually lived. And then there is the omote. This is where the shogun did his daily business. So basically that's the Oval Office. Now, apart from one family and hundreds of ladies, there were the guards. And this was also in the hundreds, 500 guards. And then three times a day they would change their office. So at each moment there will be 500 guards. So this is like in the nighttime it will be just 1,000 in this vast space. But in the daytime, most of the samurai who actually work directly for the shogun would come into Edo Castle. So that would be in the thousands. There was a traffic jam and a rush hour in Tokugawa times in the city of Edo. And so there were all the shogunate officials, and then there were the officials of the city of Edo. And then there were all the daimyo, the feudal lords. They had to come to Edo Castle every day. So in the nighttime, there's about 1,000 people in the castle, but in the daytime, it was easily 10 times as many. So this was a castle, and then also the bureaucracy, and also the National Assembly. Everything put together inside one castle in the moat. So you see, although Edo Castle and all other castles in Japan, built in the Tokugawa period, although they symbolize samurai rule, which means rule by the sword, so to speak, it was actually a very much civilian institution. It was a bureaucracy, so like today's Kasumigaseki or Whitehall in London would be closer. But you see, each daimyo had to look like a feudal lord, and it had to look like an army. So each daimyo, the feudal lord, will come with tens or occasionally like 100 retainers. But it doesn't mean that they kept a standing army of that size. Half to perhaps 80% of the men men in the procession of the daimyo were actually hired commoners. They just had to put up the appearance of a feudal lord. But there was no war for nearly 300 years, so the samurai customs had become very, how should I say, just a matter of style towards the end. Okay, and I think that's enough for today. And I would probably talk about Edo Castle one more time. Okay, so see you next week. And thank you very much, Oksana.
Thank you very much, Tokugawa-san. Okay, no problem. And so, JJ, could you please open the session instead of Tokugawa-san?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it over. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, take your time. That's fine. So I'd like to update two things. One thing is in terms of Zenny, I think the liquidity and the price is going to be more stable and then getting better and better. From the chart moving. Looks like, really exciting. It's just about to, go to the moon. So I think that's really nice. Market making is done currently. And then our team is keen on, listing Zenny on another exchange, which is going to be a bit bigger, not a bit, it's also bigger than Bitmart. So we are trying to maximize the market cap of Zenny and then create a new use case for Zenny for all of the NFT holders and all of the Zenny holders from Edoverse Foundation side. This is one update. And the other update is about local government in Japan. So Tokugawa-san, Iehiro-san advised us to give some lands NFT to local government as a donation, because we had in Edo era, we had a lot of daimyo yashiki came from local government, right? Like Kumamoto Han or Satsuma Han. All of those local government was located in just around Edo Castle. And then we are gonna recreate the Edo era in Metaverse space. So which means we'd like to make a good friendship and relationship with local government. So at the first stage, we just came up the idea of giving the lands NFT as a donation. But after that, we continue to discuss that I think we can use Edoverse NFT lands NFT as a kind of so-called, what do you call it, Furusato Nozei, is a like hometown tax system. So, those, of course, we have to pay tax for Japan. And then some of the people living in Tokyo would like to give some, tax donation to local government so that they can get some kind of, presents or kind of like a nice product or service, right? So I think we can give our lands NFT as a, kind of gift of the hometown tax system so that local government can get a lot of tax from the, central city. And then they don't have to pay for, paying lands NFT because all of the, those funds came from the people's tax in living in Tokyo side. So I think it's going to be working. So I try to find some, partnership and discuss with some local government to accept our offer with lands NFT. I think it's going to be also great use case of Koban, not Zenny. So we are trying to create the use case of Koban, how to use it and what situation we can use in Edoverse, I mean. So if let's say like local government put some portion of Koban as a staking, then they can get kind of a local Zenny. We call it Hansatsu. Hansatsu is the currency, circulating local government in Edo era. So this is also a really, I think, nice challenge based on our historical record. And then Iehiro-san would say, I think it's good idea as well. So we are trying to, finalize those two projects currently. And then from tech side, it's going really working well. So we'd like to show our progress quite soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting idea. Like I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dominique, could you please continue our session today?
Thank you, Oksana. And also thanks for everybody just for Blockchain Expo the last week. Just we had a booth, then many people came. We actually printed more than 1,500 leaflets, but actually that was all gone now. And then the many people and also many our contributors also came to a booth, and we just talk a lot about Edoverse. So for example, that the daimyo roles in a Discord, and then one man or maybe more just came to the booth that we talked very constructive discussions. So for the future Edoverse, and we can just make it just with everybody who really loves Edoverse. I'm really happy that we have just had a really good conversations. And also I think we had a more different kind of people that we came, because we are now promoting the digital twin partnership promotions. So we actually find in the companies who can be in the Edoverse, and then of course that's for the advertisements and the promotions, and also maybe that they can open a shop and then showcase. There are a lot of potentials in the daimyo mansions in the futures, and then we are selling the land NFT on the 12th of December. That was in the Otemon areas. And if the company just want to have some very good locations in the Otemon areas, please raise the hands, and then they're coming into the Edoverse. In future, once that the 3D spaces are coming up, then they're going to have a really great shop, really lounge, very close to the Edo Castle. And that's going to be very, very exciting. And also the local, the authorities, we are just trying to find a contribution to the local, the governments, if we could, because we can just have some of the space in for each daimyo mansions, because they have a really, they have the in Edo cities that they have the antenna, the big daimyo mansions, and they can just expose that the regional, the lot of interesting goods or items, or maybe so they promote themselves anyway. So we are now ready for the 10 NFTs, land NFTs for each local local cities, and then so they can just promote, they can promote by themselves. And also at the same time that they can just utilize the tax system. So once that they got a tax, and then they can just donate. No, they can just have they make a payment to the local authorities, and they can get some of the benefit from the Edoverse NFTs or the other good items. So we have a lot of ideas anyway. And then we are now ready, preparing for next monthly insiders. It's the 11th of November. That we have a lot of announcements anyway. We have the new Sepia papers coming up, and also we have the very exact plan and the details of the land NFT sale in Otemon areas, and also Katana NFT sale. And then we will. You will see the avatar probably, and then I'm also very looking forward just to seeing what kind of things. And then Saito Hajime's and then Okita Soshi's two the heroes avatars that are coming up very soon. I hope that on the 11th of November that we can just show you. And then we have a 3D space probably towards the end of the year. So and then as avatar that we can just get in there, that we can walk in the city of Edos, but it's still closed. But we can just we can show you some at that time. So now Edoverse is it's getting more busy, and then teams are very busy, and then I hope that the more people just coming into the Edoverse as a DAO, and then I hope that the many people, the lot of contribution from the many people. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening and for delivering the great news today. And I will meet you next week. Goodbye.